Kamusta, Mabuhay, Namaste, Bonjour, Hola, Buen dia, Salamat, Salam. I am Sonia Chand Sandhu from the Asian Development Bank's Independent Evaluation Department, and together with our team, it's a pleasure to host you this week. A very warm welcome to participants from all over the world to this 6th Asian Evaluation Week, gathering around 90 nationalities from more than 200 multifaceted organizations. A very warm welcome to our honored guests from the People's Republic of China, Vice Minister, Ministry of Finance, President of the Shanghai National Accountant Institute and the Asia Pacific Finance and Development Institute, and all Director Generals. From the Asian Development Bank, Vice President for Knowledge Management and Sustainable Development, and Director General, Independent Evaluation Department. We are all looking forward to rich discussions across the 5 sub-themes covering cutting-edge topics, addressing the challenges facing us today and in the coming future, including the Learning Day, which is a new feature this year, providing opportunities to gain or enhance a new skill. We are looking forward to potential solutions that may emerge from the wealth of evaluation knowledge towards greener and resilient recoveries through innovative public and private sector partnerships, youth involvement, quality and infrastructure, new evaluation techniques, to name just a few. With that, I invite Dr. Lee to please introduce our distinguished guests and moderate the proceedings ahead. Over to you, Dr. Lee, and it's wonderful to see everyone again. Dr. Lee, over to you, sir.
好，谢谢。尊敬的朱润明副部长、联邦苏珊托诺副行长、马文泰勒多蒙的局长，各位嘉宾、女士们、先生们，早上好！非常高兴能够在今天2021年亚洲评价周开幕的日子，再一次与来自世界各地102个不同国家的评价从业者在线上相聚在一起，共商评价大业，共谱评价蓝图。本次活动由中华人民共和国财政部与亚洲开发银行联合主办，亚洲开发银行独立评价局与上海国家会计学院、亚太财经发展学院联合承办，是亚洲评价周系列年度活动的第6届。资源的稀缺和人们对美好生活需求之间的矛盾，决定了通过绩效评价不断去改善管理、提升绩效的必要性。2002年初，一场突如其来的新型冠状病毒肺炎疫情打乱了世界经济发展的进程。这一本世纪以来最大的黑天鹅事件，不仅对全球产业链和供应链造成了阻断和冲击，给经济全球化蒙上了阴影，同时为世界经济复苏前景带来了极大的不确定性，使百年未有之大变局加速演进。站在变革的十字路口，我们如何更加科学合理地使用好绩效评价这一公共管理工具，为不确定性的世界经济增加确定性，助力经济社会走向韧性发展之路，成为当前各方普遍关注的问题。与此同时，面对新的发展环境，基于新的发展条件，应对新的发展命题，包括绩效评价在内的整个绩效管理的理念和工具方法，也不能因循守旧、固步自封，必须顺应形势的变化而不断与时俱进。所有这些都要求我们更加重视能力建设，持续加强学习。因此，2021年的亚洲评价周将围绕变革中的评价、应对不确定性挑战、促进更有韧性的发展这一主题展开，通过思想的碰撞，推动绩效评价工作的创新发展。由于受到疫情的影响，今年的亚洲评价周依然采用了线上模式，但我们相信这丝毫不会降低我们参与亚洲评价周各项活动的热情和激情，因为 虽然空间上我们身处世界各地，但大家推动绩效评价事业不断向前发展的心，永远靠在一起。朋友们，现在请允许我介绍将在开幕式部分致辞的3位嘉宾。第一位致辞嘉宾是中国财政部副部长朱宗明先生。第2位致辞嘉宾是亚洲开发银行副行长 Bambang Susantono 先生。第3位致辞嘉宾是亚洲开发银行独立评价局局长 Marvin Taylor Drummond 先生。大家都知道，作为区域内颇具影响力的年度盛事，亚洲评价周活动从创立伊始到如今发展壮大，其走过的每一步都离不开中华人民共和国财政部的大力支持和指导。朋友们，首先让我们隆重邀请中国财政部朱宗明副部长为2021亚洲评价周致开幕词，大家欢迎。
尊敬的各位嘉宾、女士们、先生们，大家上午好。由中华人民共和国财政部与亚洲开发银行主办，亚洲开发银行独立评价局与上海国家会计学院联合承办的2021年亚洲评价周现在开幕了。首先，我谨代表中华人民共和国财政部向本届活动的顺利举办表示诚挚的祝贺，向来自国内外的参会专家和代表们表示热烈欢迎，向世界银行、经济合作与发展组织、联合国有关机构等国际组织、区域内各个政府、局设机构对本次活动的大力支持，以及亚洲开发银行独立评价局等部门所做的周到安排表示衷心的感谢。为促进各国及各专业评价机构之间的实践分享，提升评价在公共部门管理决策中的应用，2016年，中国财政部与亚洲开发银行联合发起了亚洲评价周系列年度活动，如今已经步入第6个年头。作为绩效评价领域的一项盛事，亚洲评价周始终秉承打造亚洲地区乃至全世界一流的绩效评价领域能力建设和交流沟通平台的初衷，围绕绩效评价领域的日渐难点问题，不断优化活动内容和形式，努力提升活动质量和水平，开展了许多有益的探索和创新，使大家进一步加深了对绩效管理理论和实践的理解认知。通过对评价知识的探讨交流，不断激发碰撞出思想火花，源源不断地为区域内绩效评价事业发展注入新的动力和能量。自创办以来，亚洲评价周系列活动一直得到了各方的热烈响应和肯定，影响力不断扩大。实践证明，此项活动较好起到了桥梁和纽带作用，加强了区域内的沟通合作，推动了绩效评价事业的蓬勃发展。朋友们，在推进经济和社会高质量发展过程中，如何提升绩效，如何在有限资源的约束下提高资源配置的效率和使用效益，是一个长期而重要的命题。希望亚洲评价周成为一座知识之桥，进一步深化对绩效评价领域前沿理论和实践的研究和探讨，加强亚洲地区乃至全世界绩效评价领域的沟通交流。同时，也希望亚洲评价周成为一座友谊之桥，不断增进我们彼此之间的信任，深化彼此之间的合作。朋友们，中国政府高度重视公共政策绩效评价工作，近年来绩效评价事业发展迅速，让我们携手起来，相互借鉴，共同发展，共同进步，为创造绩效管理的美好未来 而不懈努力。最后，预祝本次活动取得圆满成功。谢谢大家。
感谢朱部长的精彩致辞，也感谢朱部长对亚洲评价周这一活动的开展所给予的高度评价。这对于我们持续办好亚洲评价周是一个特别强有力的鼓励。我们一定要努力把亚洲评价周办成卓越的知识之桥、友谊之桥。同时呢，借此机会，我也要特别感谢这个朱部长对上海国家会计学院各项工作的这个关心和支持。朋友们，在今天的中国，加强绩效评价工作已经形成了广泛的共识，正在演绎丰富的实践。亚洲评价周工作也得到了财政部各级领导的关心和支持。今天许多司局的领导从百忙当中亲临参加开幕式，对此呢，我们也表示衷心的感谢。各位朋友，早在14年前，当时的中国财政部国际司、世界银行独立评价局、亚洲开发银行独立评价局以及上海国家会计学院亚太财经发展中心这是我们亚太财经发展学院的前身，联合创办了上海国际发展评价培训项目，也就是 SHIPDAT， 为推动绩效评价能力建设贡献力量。正是在这个项目的基础上，我们在6年前创办了亚洲评价周系列年度活动，为亚洲地区提供一个分享绩效评价领域新进展、加强绩效评价能力建设的平台。一路走来，得益于各方的大力支持和精诚合作，亚洲评价周已经成为区域内发展评价能力建设的知名品牌。接下来，我恳请大家和我一起用热烈的掌声欢迎我们的合作伙伴亚洲开发银行副行长 Bambang Susantono 先生致辞。
Thank you, Moderator Lee Ko-sing, Honorable Vice Minister Zhu Zongming, my colleague, IED Director General Marvin Taylor-Dorman, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a very good morning, afternoon, and evening, depending when you are. It is a great pleasure for me to join all of you in this very distinguished event. This is a critical time in our history. We face huge challenges. The pandemic only added to the rapid changes we face this decade, and it added to the many uncertainties we need to manage. The issues we confront are becoming far more complex. This means we must be flexible and open to newer and faster learning, which now often comes digitally and virtually. Today's knowledge management will allow for better decision-making and actions, and we need to put knowledge to work for development. COVID-19 is a huge test for governments to deal with uncertainty. Its unprecedented nature left policymakers to take, as the Netherlands Prime Minister Mark Rutte put it, 100% of decisions with 50% of the knowledge. Aside from the health security and COVID-19, we have the growing impact of climate change and other risks adding to the future uncertainties. We need to absorb the impact of the fourth industrial revolutions, demographic aging in some major economies, and increased competition in trade, for example. It is essential we boost our capabilities in knowledge management, learning, and evidence-based decision-making. This is how we will build resilient societies. While the scientific community was able to quickly ramp up global collaborations to produce life-saving vaccines, the current international political environment has worked against the globalization we have seen since the late 1980s. Recently, governments have had to rely more on their own abilities to scan the horizons, their own evaluation, informal networks, and regional or sub-regional exchange mechanisms to accelerate learning. The systems are there. We need to help reactivate them to ensure we manage knowledge to the benefit of all. Going forward, we must accelerate learning. We need to consider both bolstering public sector capabilities to learn from other country experiences and enhance intergovernment coordinations. Only this can build a resilient public sector. At ADB, for the past 2 decades, we have added focus on knowledge management to boost organizational learning. We want to become a learning organization that can provide knowledge along with financing. Actually, this has been a core ADB mission since we were founded 55 years ago. This year, we approved a Knowledge Management Action Plan, or KMAP, that will make us more of a solution provider for our developing member clients. To do this, we must become more resilient, and that requires more effective learning. The ADB KMAP will move from counting knowledge products and services to providing knowledge solutions that clients need, reduce knowledge silos, connect people, and increase collaborations, increase the relevance and quality of knowledge, strengthen the capacity of country teams, including resident missions, to manage knowledge and strengthen relationships, and optimize the contributions and learning of staff members, consultants, and partners. The KMAP incorporates the 3 pillars of people and culture, process and system, and relationship. It is user-focused and comprises 10 corporate action and 5 principles. This includes using different approaches specific to individual clients, balancing demand and supply along with top-down and bottom-up research, boosting our organizational culture and learning, leveraging the best technology available, and remaining results-focused. Learning in uncertain times requires more than evidence, facts, and knowledge. Knowledge is constructing using both sides of the brain, and we need an emotional tag that allows us to retrieve information, memory, and experience that fits new situations. This means we apply our knowledge more fully. Report and fact sheets are not enough. We need to humanize knowledge to better connect, remember, and use what we know. This is the essence of resilient learning. A double loop learning can better manage uncertainty and adapt to change. It recognizes that how we instinctively define or try to solve a problem can also be a source of the problem itself. It forces us to be more creative and innovative, so eventually we can anticipate change. Examples include real-time evaluation and independent reviews. It allows us to challenge assumptions and make course corrections when needed. We learn best from each other. We do this globally, regionally, sub-regionally, and locally. We exchange knowledge to learn better. For example, globally, we use socialprotection.org, which taps social protection experts worldwide in virtual communities. We established a regional hub to improve domestic resource mobilization and tax cooperations, which help exchange information with our clients and development partners. It is open and inclusive to make tax reform more relevant, for example, on e-commerce. We have a future thinking and capacity development program for policymakers and ADB staff. We support the Asia Pacific Futures Network, which focuses on Southeast Asia. We work with the Republic of Korea on building partnership agreements with various organizations. We are working on new approaches to knowledge transfer and have a knowledge immersion program, which brings experts to counterpart agency in developing member countries to work alongside their teams. On-the-job learning or training program promote knowledge sharing and capacity building. Since the ADB Water Operators Partnership Program began in 2007, over 40 utility partnerships have been established. They support our investment in water and sanitation projects by helping utility to sustainably operate and maintain and manage their assets and continually improve service. Locally, here in the Philippines, we support the National Economic Development Agency of the Philippines, develop a knowledge management strategy and knowledge management unit to easily share knowledge within and across agencies. We have enhanced our preparation process for country knowledge plans to improve the way we help design and deliver projects to our clients. Learning from your evaluation is an important part of the process. Enhanced country knowledge programming maps out our knowledge portfolio. It helps identify partners and align our knowledge support with current and future landing plans. This helps align our knowledge support with government national development priorities and respond to either current or just-in-time demand. Learning from evaluations underpins our entire business cycle. We learn from the past to prepare for the future. We develop scenarios, understand trends and emerging issues, support national development plans through our country partnership strategies, our investment portfolio, and our knowledge program. While this process might have been more static and used to take several years, we now benefit from real-time evaluations. Our learning collaboration, supported by our own research and knowledge work, examines emerging issues and sector-specific development trends. As a learning organization, we will promote, facilitate, and reward collective learning. I look forward to this evaluation week and how we learn from each other to create resilience in these uncertain times. For now, more than ever, we need to keep our eyes open to new learning based on facts and experience, using both sides of our brain. We need to put new knowledge to work for development. Because, as Klaus Bernhard once said, it is what we know already that often prevents us from learning. Thank you and have a fruitful discussions.
谢谢班邦苏三通的行长的精彩演讲。在刚才的演讲中，这个行长先生跟我们分享了这个亚行在推进知识管理方面的实践。面对高度的不确定性，我们需要去管理不确定性，我们需要增强发展的韧性，这就需要增强知识与发展之间的连接。毫无疑问，评价是知识与发展连接当中极为重要的一环。那我们愿意和亚行的朋友们一起来推动高质量的评价，一起推动高质量的知识分享。我们也借此机会再次对亚行以及行长先生多年来对亚洲评价周的支持表示衷心的感谢。接下来呢，我们欢迎亚太财经发展中心上海国家会计学院的亲密合作伙伴，也是亚洲评价周活动一直以来的联合承办方，亚洲开发银行独立评价局局长 Marvin Taylor Dormont 先生致辞。
Thank you very much, my good friend, Dr. Li Keqiang. Mr. Su Zhongming, Vice Minister, the Ministry of Finance, the People's Republic of China. Dr. Li Keqiang, President of the Asia Pacific Finance and Development Institute and the Shanghai National Accounting Institute. Dr. Bambang Susantono, Vice President of ADB. Colleagues from around the world, colleagues from the region. We know that many of you have made huge efforts to join us today, despite the continuing crisis caused by the pandemic and the varying time zones. And so we are deeply appreciative to all of you and offer you our most grateful welcome. This is sadly my last AEW in my present capacities. And mind you that I trust that you will continue to invite me in the future. I want to express my deep appreciation to our partner, the Ministry of Finance of PRC, AFDI, and very especially to my good friend, Dr. Li Keqiang. We have made a great partnership together with his fantastic team, Dr. Min Xiao and Mr. Scott Liu, who together with also my extraordinary team led this year by Ms. Sonia Chandu, Ms. Marian Shaneko, and the past by, you remember many of you, Ms. Veronique, Ms. Farsan, Ms. Maya. Together, all of them have been the engine behind this now emblematic annual event. I want to thank you all for your contribution, your efforts. I want to thank also ADB for the unconditional support to this initiative. And of course, I want to thank you all, the participants who have turned this into such a special professional gathering. Over 2,000 years ago, the Greek philosopher Heraclitus viewed the world as in an ever-constant change or flux. These changes, he believed, were part of what he called the unity of opposite, where dualities are in constant play and struggle. This view is very similar to the Chinese culture, the yin and yang. opposite or contrary forces that are complementary, interconnected, and interdependent of each other. For nearly 2 years now, we have been precisely in a great state of flux, brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic. As the pandemic continues to unfold, we are witnessing the dynamics between pain and hope, belief and science, cooperation and individualism, health and economics, uncertainty and resilience. This crisis has immersed our life in a world full of uncertainty. Uncertainty on our ability to control the pandemic itself, on our capacity to mitigate negative economic and social impacts, and on our direction going forward. Furthermore, the looming climate change crisis is adding more fuel to this world of uncertainty. As President Susantono just mentioned, the latest 2021 report of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change voiced dire warnings. Climate change impacts are widespread and intensifying. What these uncertainties clearly reveal to us is that we are traversing a path of transformative change. In other words, a change that is deep, systemic, and sustained over the long term, and that ultimately will have an irreversible impact on our lives. As an old Chinese proverb says, all things change, and we must change with them. The change is taking place across institutions, governments, private sector, and individuals. But while it is hard to oppose the dual forces of the flux, we must embrace these widespread changes. Our instinct of preservation is also demanding that we come out of this transformation more resilient, more able to endure future shocks, and more knowledgeable of the factors that have led us to the current state of affairs. Here is where I come to our choice of theme for this year's Asian Evaluation Week. We have called it Transformational Evaluation, moving from uncertainties to resilience. Let us ask ourselves, in the midst of these radical and irreversible changes and our quest for stronger resilience, is there a role for evaluation? Of course, the answer in my view is certainly yes. In these times of transformational change and short search for resilience, evaluation as a transdiscipline, in the words of Michael Scriven, the philosopher of evaluation, can play a critical role by committing to make a contribution in real time when it is needed. At the same time, by maintaining a focus on long-term results, and finally, by documenting and distilling the lessons from our actions that our organizations and societies are implementing now to navigate through these difficult times, so that we can come out of this crisis more knowledgeable and better prepared for the next. The need to provide inputs in time of change is evident. There is a premium on learning and adapting quickly during crisis, and more so in an unprecedented one, such as the COVID-19 crisis. On the other hand, the importance of maintaining a long-term focus is also clear. During crisis, organizations tend to concentrate on the urgency at hand and place long-term concerns in the back burner. But evaluation can help in keeping attention on the important results ahead, and not only on the urgent demands of today. Finally, concerning the distillation of lessons, because we know that these events will happen again, it is wise to accumulate, interpret, preserve, and share the lessons of the change process that we are going through to enhance institutional, governmental, and societal resilience. Now, while possible, To be able to make this contribution, evaluation not only has to strive to respond effectively to the transformation process, but submit itself to a transformation as well. I refer to a transformation of our practice characterized by moving beyond our traditional summative assessment to placing greater emphasis on the formative nature of real-time work. By improving our traditional methods to collect data, gather evidence, and analyze it. A transformation by developing a passion for productively accompanying our organizations through the drama of change, blending accountability and learning, instead of passively acting as observers, focusing on our own world and working at our own pace. A transformation by being truly strategic in the choice of themes for evaluation in the interest of institutional change. And by spending more time in engaging with stakeholders, users of evaluation, local and international, while preserving our independence to improve the quality and the utility of our evaluation work. This is precisely what we in IED have been doing at ADB during the crisis. We have proactively been providing timely formative evaluation assessment on initiatives that ADB is implementing to help countries address the pandemic through real-time evaluation. We have been improving methods for the collection of information and data on the ground. We have introduced artificial intelligence to mine our evaluation lessons, dedicating immense time to develop trust with stakeholders, choosing strategic topics for evaluation that everyone in the organization cares about, ensuring continuity in delivering knowledge and capacity development during the crisis, and leveraging partnerships such as with the Global Evaluation Initiative, the Global Development Learning Network, and the Global Alliance for Real-Time Evaluation to enhance evaluation capacities. This, colleagues, friends, is the call to our discipline at this challenging time, to contribute to the transformation that the world is going through, and at the same time to transform ourselves to become more capable of making this contribution. Let us do this with sincerity. When sincerity manifests, as Confucius said, it affects others. Affecting others, they are changed by it. Changed by it, they are transformed. I strongly urge our professional experts and development practitioners in general to heed this call and use the turbulence of our time to think beyond traditional approaches and strive to contribute to the irreversible transformation taking place around us, and to constantly advance our capacity to learn, to be more resilient in the future. I can tell you, based on the experience of my team, that not only it is right to do so, but it is also deeply rewarding. My friends, colleagues, I trust that this week of reflection help us all to accept this call, and that we leave this event with a renewed commitment to be true agents of change and valuable sources of knowledge to enhance institutional and organizational resilience around us. Thank you very much. 谢谢你. Success during this week. Thank you.
谢谢 Marvin， 谢谢你的精彩致辞啊。刚刚在听您的致辞的时候啊，我注意到你有几个观点，这个我觉得特别值得跟大家再做一下分享。第一个呢，毫无疑问，这个新冠疫情啊是全球所面对的巨大的挑战。 面对疫情呢，我们都要从疫情的应对当中学习，要加强全球各个国家之间的合作，来更好的应对疫情。第二点呢，你提到这个评价本身啊，随着这个社会的发展，面临着巨大的挑战，在评价的技术和相关利益方之间的关系方面，可能我们都需要转型。而包括这个大数据、人工智能在内的这个技术的发展呢，为现在评价的开展啊，包括您所提到的实时评价，提供了新的可能性。我们要充分的利用最新的技术手段，来提升评价的这个质量。第三个呢，我想我特别同意你谈到的，我们这个社会在转型过程当中，我们需要这个变革，一切都在变化，我们需要以变应变。面对变化，可怕的不是这个巨变本身，可怕的是在变化面前啊，我们仍旧墨守成规啊。非常感谢你。刚刚听到你说这可能是你在独立评价局局长任上和我们联合举办的最后一次这个亚洲评价周哈，这让我多少有点伤感。我想在这个地方要特别感谢亚行的独立评价局，尤其是感谢你本人过去几年来跟我们这个上海国家会计学院亚太财经发展学院所开展的非常成功的合作。我相信啊，你永远是亚洲评价周非常重要的一员。这个妈妈，你还要记得你的另外一个身份，这就是我们上海国家会计学院这个战略咨询委员会的一员。我们也特别希望你能继续支持上海国家会计学院的发展，继续支持亚洲评价周的发展。谢谢妈们。各位朋友，从刚才各朱部长以及边邦行长、马文局长热情洋溢的讲话当中啊，我们不难体会出，在中国、在亚洲乃至于全世界，一方面绩效评价工作近年来取得了令人振奋的成果，有着广阔的发展前景，但另外一方面呢，全球面临着多方面的新的挑战，新冠疫情、气候变化等等，评价领域也面临着不少的问题和挑战，需要我们不断的提升评价工作的能力和本领，提升评价的价值，为增强经济发展的韧性和社会发展的可持续性啊，提供重要的支撑。研讨交流，相互借鉴，共同提高，也正是我们未来几天在本届亚洲评价周需要开展的工作。让我们在这里啊，再次以热烈的掌声，感谢中华人民共和国财政部和亚洲开发银行对亚洲评价周活动的大力支持，感谢朱宗明副部长和亚洲开发银行边邦蜀山通的副行长以及马文局长的精彩致辞。现在我宣布呢，2021年的亚洲评价周的开幕式就到此结束了。由于朱副部长工作非常繁忙哈，我们再次感谢并且欢送朱部长一行。一会儿呢，我们将进入主旨演讲环节。